Well, former San Diego Chargers quarterback Philip Rivers makes his return to the NFL.
I thought they had the win, Eddie. I thought they had it. Here with a recap of his game against the Seahawks, sports columnist Eddie Brown, the San Diego Union-Tribune. Eddie, talk to me, man. I thought that 60-yard field goal was it, man. And then they left too much time on the clock.
I mean, I'm sure Hollywood producers were pretty happy about that, right?
Right.
Because that's pretty much everybody was rooting for a win. I think on the spectrum of things that could have happened, on the bad end, you know, getting hurt or throwing 4 interceptions.
Right.
On the good end, throwing 4 touchdowns and looking like, you know, the Rivers of old instead of just being old. I think this is pretty close to that good part.
How do you think he did overall? How did he play? Did he surprise you at all?
I wouldn't say surprised. Look, the competitiveness, top tier. I mean, he's always been one of the top competitors.
Right.
I think his command of the offense, you know, him getting the team involved on the sidelines, the energy, he brought that. As far as throwing, I mean, obviously the offense was limited. They had a very specific game plan, and the balls kind of fluttered if they had to travel more than 5 yards. So there's obviously a lot of stuff to work on there. But as far as just, you know, keeping the team competitive when they're trying, you know, they're getting ready for a playoff stretch here and trying to make the playoffs, I think he did a good job.
So you know, we were talking about this last week, and this one was all lit up. Like everybody was getting very excited about this, wondering what that was going to do. Did you think it brought that spark that was needed for the team?
Well, I think it gave them a really good shot. I mean, Seattle's always a tough place to play anyways, and the Seahawks are one of the best teams in the NFL this year. I think a lot of people thought that they would go in there and you know, get dominated, or this would be the end of their season after disappointing losing their starting quarterback. I think he kept them, you know, pretty focused, and I think he gave them a chance. That's all you can ask.
I was talking to you during the commercial because I wanted to ask, was that the Philip Rivers of old? I'm not talking about get 400 yards in the fourth, but screaming at the offensive line, screaming on the sidelines, just yelling and getting everybody pumped up. That was kind of very reminiscent of, oh, there's old number 17 doing his thing again.
Oh yeah.
But he always used to stress me out when he was like, oh my God, is he ready? He's talking, is he changing everything? What is he doing? That was happening again.
If he was there the entire time, right?
Yeah.
Like he had been there.
Like he owned it, yeah.
Yeah, and he just stepped in, and he literally had been there less than a week. So that tells you the competitive, you know, juice started flowing right away. I think that was exciting when he threw the touchdown and he pumped his fist and everything like that. That was very reminiscent of the Rivers of old that we all remember.
So cool.
Are San Diego sports fans excited about this? From what you've heard?
You know what? I think people are excited. I think Rivers has there's a lot of fans here. Obviously, that was a good time. A lot of wins. The team was always competitive.
Man,
even when they lost by a touchdown.
Look at this. You're making me cry.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things to where
Rivers to Gates.
If they go into the playoffs, I think probably there's just as many people here be rooting for the Colts as there would be for the Colts.
Right? I saw a lot of people on social media like, I never thought I'd be rooting for the Colts in a game, but this is where we are right now.
Right.
Are they going to make the playoffs, you think, the Colts? It's kind of tough now. They've lost, what, 4?
Yeah, they're right now, if it started today, they'd be out. They have to catch the Texans and the Jaguars, and they play both those teams, though. So if they can win out, and they have the Niners next week, that's going to be a tough one, even though it's at home. If they can win out and get a little help, I think they'll have a chance.
I mean, is he starting on Monday Night Football next week?
I don't think he did anything that would, you know, I think if I'm the Colts, I would like to look at Riley Leonard. You spend a draft pick on the kid. He's 23, he's not 44. So I would consider that, but I think he earned a shot to, you know, it's going to be prime time. I think a lot of people are going to want to be tuning in.
It's like you weigh the youth and athleticism of Leonard versus the football IQ of a man you have out there who has been through all the battles.
Experience, right?
Is experience versus youth.
Right.
The age-old debate, isn't it, Eddie?
Yeah, you know, I think if they lose to the Niners on Monday night, then you might start thinking, hey, we got to see the kid.
I love the video of his football team, the high school football team in Alabama, watching, and when they threw that touchdown, they went nuts for him.
Oh, I mean,
that was so special.
Just lock them in. I mean, now he can go back there, you know, after the season. It's like, well, when they say, oh, coach, it's a tough day, I'm down. It's like, well, I got on a plane and I went and played an NFL game. So I
got to be honest, since, you know, 3 years ago, I ruptured my Achilles trying to still play sports. And then all of a sudden, when he threw the touchdown pass and he did the pump and he started jumping, I was like, oh my God, be careful, be careful, be careful. By the way, producer Jeff in my ear, Eddie, goes, go Niners. I'm like,
I am from Northern California. I'm a former season ticket holder, so I'm not going to dissuade Jeff from saying go Niners. That's
He just went, hey. Listen, we're all for Philip Rivers next Monday night. Eddie, good talking to you as always.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.